like a religion in the Air Force. In civil aviation, in many countries, they do something called UPRT, unusual attitude, basically unusual attitude and recovery. In some countries, it is mandatory. In India, you could do that on a simulator, but on a live aeroplane, it is not mandatory. After this accident, will it become mandatory or not remains a big question. And also, more important than that is the aspect of bad weather, bad visibility that we were talking about. All that now is out of the window. Even the landing gear issue, even if it was there, that wouldn't lead to this flick. This is exact classic one wing stalling before the other. And this is a classic stall on finals. And recovery from here is not using a certain control. It is using the rudder. And this is what we teach the young pilots in the Air Force, how to recover when you flick on finals. And the height loss on finals is so high that you don't have time and altitude to recover. In this case, it was also a tabletop runway. So that also adds, fuel to the fire, literally. So I can stick my neck out and comfortably say it is a classic stall on the final turn. If it is anything other than this, probably I'll never come to channel ever again.
Okay, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, where do you come in on this? You've seen this footage, it's just appeared, as you know, less than an hour back, and we put it out there. And we're going to hold that footage there for you. We're also going to bring in some of the other footage that shows where exactly this plane fell short of the runway. So we have some stills which have been taken by a drone camera. Can we pull those out? There you can see that. We circle the debris, and you can see on the side there, you can see the runway on the left. So a lot going on in these pictures.
So, there's several things we can rule out from this picture. The first speculation was that, it's a tabletop airport. Tabletop airports are very dangerous and things like that. That's clearly not an issue out here. The second issue that we've ruled out is visibility. Because from the video, it's very clear this video itself has been taken from a kilometer or so away. And, this is more than adequate visibility for you to land, which begs the question during the first approach, how is it that the pilots did not see the runway? Because not being able to see the runway with this much visibility is a bit, strange. Third, no mayday was ever called out throughout the landing sequence. Fourth, at this particular altitude, you would not have deployed the landing gear, especially when you're doing a go-around yet. Fifth, I just want to bring up that, the Learjet is one of those planes none of us ever wanted to fly. It is an extremely high workload plane. It is not a bad plane, but it has always been an extremely high workload plane.
What do you mean by that?
It's a very tough plane to handle. It's not a forgiving plane. You need to, unlike a whole host of modern business jets, which have very easy platforms, which are very relatively low workload on you. This really requires your attention all the time. There are lots of things going off on things like that you have to focus on. However, given what Vinodji is saying, it is quite clearly some kind of a stall or mechanical fault induced stall somewhere, because the plane is banked very at a very high angle to the left, and it's coming down way too fast. There is something that has gone wrong here. Now, understand, even if one engine had stopped, the second engine, by its very nature, should have been able to maintain plane flight for quite some time. That has not happened out here. So this is not a landing gear issue. This is not from the looks of it, it doesn't seem to be a pilot issue. I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem to be a pilot issue. The last point I want to make is, somebody really has to hold the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau to account. They are an absolute delinquent organization. There have been crashes. The 2023 crash, they have still not produced their final report. It can't take 3 years for you to produce your report. The Air India plane crash, they have still not produced the report. How long has it been since there? See, the international rules maintain that within the first 30 days you have to produce the interim report, but after that there is absolutely no requirement. There was either a Boeing or a Airbus crash in China some 6 7 years back. They never produced the report because apparently it was suicide by pilot. You can't have the same reputation as a banana republic like China. If this is a serious country with serious accountability of public officials, you really need to start producing reports. It is precisely because you don't produce reports that you have conspiracy theories that crop up. This is the same mentality as aliens from Mars built the pyramids because you don't know how the pyramids were built. This is that exact same kind of thing. You need to start producing reports. I really wish the aviation minister was proactive, but as we've seen from Indigo, there is no proactive action taken anywhere here.
And that is of course, a big omission. Yes, Captain.
A quick point, just adding to Abhijit. Rahul, it is, I mean, it's apathy to say the least for the last accident, which was Delta Bravo Lima, which happened on the runway, same VSR Aviation. 2.5 years, you've not produced a report is not going down my throat. I'm a trained air accident investigator. I'm part of the AIB. I mean, if they want to, they can co-opt me for this investigation. But having said that, there is a serious um, see that government needs to do, maybe purge. I don't know, some kind of accountability. You cannot just not do anything and get away with it. Absolutely with Abhijit on this. Rahul.
So I want to ask you, because I'm just looking at some of the issues here. Uh, let's put these questions to both of you. And there you can see that 10 meters is the distance between the runway and, of course, the crash site. There you can see it's a tabletop runway, and on the slope, on the embankment, it seems to have crashed this plane. And you can see right there in the corner. Whether it was attempting to land or not, or it just lost control, of course, let's discuss that. But why did the aircraft miss the runway first, Captain Vinod? And I mean, I don't see a visibility issue there. And why was the first landing aborted? And why was there no mayday called?
Now look at this. This image is such a beautiful image. I mean, I would request your producer to hold this image. See, at this point, the aeroplane should be aligned with, not at this point, at least 4 kilometers from this point, the aeroplane should be aligned with the runway. It is at an angle to the runway. That means for whatever reason, the pilot was trying to do something, we call it as a curved approach, an approach in which you are trying to land the aeroplane by turning at all times and aligning, and at the last minute take the wings level and flare and land, which in fighters it is permitted. In civil aviation, it is not permitted. On 1,000 feet from your touchdown point, you have to have wings level. Maximum angle of bank permitted from 1,000 feet from the touchdown point is only 7 degrees of bank, not more. We are not saying 7 degrees of bank here. So there is something seriously that inward looking is needed, both from the point of view of regulator and from the point of view of operator. Serious inward looking is required. That's what I said. I mean, there needs to be some kind of accountability. Some head needs to roll. It cannot just be, business as usual. It's not correct. We've lost a very tall leader today. And he comes from, I mean, my mom belongs to this place, and he's a very, very, very loved leader in this.
So let me ask, Mr. Iyer Mitra, why was no mayday called? Obviously, this was pretty apparent what was going wrong.
We don't know if it was apparent. This seems to be some kind of a last minute issue. From what Vinodji said, I think maybe he was trying a last minute landing. We really don't know. If you look at the time where the plane banks, in that video, you can see the plane is level up to the last minute, where he then starts banking left. So was he trying a fighter pilot style landing, which should never be allowed? It should never be allowed in civil aviation. You have to stick to landing patterns and things like that. You never do this kind of. But if we assume the assumption is it was pilot mismanagement, which then led to a course correction, which led to a stall, or B, the pilot was trying to compensate, in which case they should have already called in a mayday. Was the workload too much that they were dealing with some kind of crisis in the cockpit that they couldn't call in the mayday? We don't know. We have to wait for the cockpit voice recorder and things like that to come out.
Okay, well, viewers, the director has not been able to align the screen because of some technical reasons. We're going to try to do that, but I didn't mean to sort of occupy and give only that much screen room to the visuals, because the visuals really are the story here tonight. But fundamentally, you see that that's the latest footage. We've had two experts really talk about this. Ruling out sabotage, that's for sure. This pilot error, most certainly here. There might be, I'm not an expert, but there might be some sort of technical fault that might have happened, but that also looks unlikely, according to Captain Vinod. So what are we left with, viewers? We're left with a problem. A problem of assumptions being thrown around, a problem of people now making insinuations to shake your faith, my faith in the system. Now, you can call out the DGCA for not having done a good job earlier, for not seeking reports and all of that. All that is fine. But to make the leap without proof, without evidence, without waiting for even a preliminary report to suggest that there was sabotage, viewers, only our enemies gain. And this is a shocking omission. Shocking omission. And I want to actually ask a question straight off the TMC representative on the show. Can we just bring the TMC representative in? Captain Vinod, thank you very much for joining us. I don't want to drag you into a political slugfest tonight, but we might call upon you in another 10 minutes to come in, and I think there's more footage, I'm being told, that we might be able to present here. So it'll be great to get your insights on that. So stay with me, but I just want to bring in the TMC representative. I want to get in Tehseen Poonawala, Susiben Shah, Mr. Ayyar Mitra is there with us. And of course, we have with us somebody who is speaking for the TMC today, Shubhankar Bhattacharya, who's a political analyst, backs the TMC. Mr. Bhattacharya, what is wrong with Mamata Banerjee? What is she saying? What kind of an, I'm sorry to say, but what kind of a reaction is this? You're insinuating that because Sharad Pawar and his nephew might have decided to come together, and that you heard on social media that Ajit Pawar might be leaving the NDA, that something has happened, something untoward.
Okay. So Rahul, let me begin with, first of all, the condolences to the bereaved family, and I should say the bereaved families over there. So this kind of mishap shouldn't be happening actually, and we should do everything that is possible to stop these kinds of incidences. Now see, neither me nor you, neither Mamata Banerjee or anybody in the panel, apart of the few experts that you got over here, are expert enough to actually even assume what exactly has technically gone wrong. And for that, we really need a deep, in-depth investigation in the matter. That you also very well agree. So what is basically bothering us? That there is a question about the entire incidents, or the question is being asked by Mamata Banerjee?
No, I'm sorry, Mr. Shubhankar, these are her words.
So if Mamata Banerjee now raises a question...
No, 1 second, Mr. Hang on. I would have accepted had she said, look, lapses could have been the reason. We need to be looking at this a little carefully. We need an investigation, and we need a report to be put out in public. But what is she saying? There is no safety and security for the people of this country. Don't know what the fate of opposition leaders or party is. I came to know he was leaving the NDA. And now that what has happened today raises some serious questions. What do you mean by this, sir? That he was leaving the NDA, so someone had it out for him and decided that that they won't allow, and they, I mean, what are you doing, sir? Weaponizing a tragedy now? I mean, has it come to this?
Okay. See, Rahul, now you have framed a very long question. Now you
I have
need
not.
to
I've
have
only
some
repeated
patience
what
to
she
put
has
it-
said,
to-
sir, and
to
I've
get
asked
to
you a
the
very
answer as
short
well.
question after that.
So-
Why is she
so
saying
can
this?
I-
Is she weaponizing tragedy to make political gain? Have we come to this? It's a very short question.
So can I, if you just allow me some time to at least answer that question as well. Now, number one, see, Mamata Banerjee till, in fact, the quote and unquote, all the things that you put over here said by Mamata Banerjee, to the extent I hear and understand, those are all facts put together. Ajit Pawar willing to, leave and join its primary, party over there, willing to go back in the family and everything. Now, these are all the facts which is already over there on the social media and all the other platforms available. These are the facts put together. Now, putting it together and sounding it like a conspiracy is up to us. Secondly, there should be an in-depth investigation. You are also okay with it. I'm also okay with it.
Viewers-
We believe that there should be. There is no problem about it. Now, the thing is, how should it?
One second, Mr. Shubhankar Bhattacharya, please. Let's not be too clever by half. Don't teach us the English language. Don't teach us syntax. We're not fools sitting here. You might be living in cloud cuckoo land, or you might be obfuscating, but please, we don't have so much wool in our heads that you can pull it over our eyes. We haven't got to that stage. You can try this in Bengal, sir. Don't try
Rahul,
it here.
cut the
1 minute, let
theatrics.
me just, there's no
Rahul.
theatrics. I'm being factual here.
Rahul, cut the theatrics.
in what
So
context
you
we
want
are-
to sound it like
Okay, Mr.
if you
Bhattacharya,
talk
you want
against
to
the plane
shout,
crash,
you
if
want to
talk
shout,
against the plane crash,
you want to shout,
actually
you're most welcome
anti-Modi,
to. I'm not saying that, sir.
Anti-BJP.
Okay, I'm not saying that. I made it very clear that, look, you
So-
can call for a bona fide inquiry,
So there
not a
shouldn't be any
problem.
investigation. Mamata Banerjee should have come on
Okay,
the screen and said, "Oh, all is very fine.
Okay,
We are
viewers,
very sorry about
there is no
Ajit Pawar.
safety
There
and
should be no
security
investigation
for
at all."
people of
And
this
then
country.
Rahul would be very happy.
Don't
Oh,
know
it
what
goes
the
very well
fate of
with the
opposition
ruling
leaders
party
or
at least.
parties is. I came to know he was leading the NDA. Now what has happened today raises some serious questions. What does this mean?
Of course, that's the fact.
We have only trust in the Supreme Court,
That's
no
a
other
fact.
agency. Susiben Shah, would you like to respond?
You're putting the facts together
I think-
only.
Let me offer my heartfelt and sincere condolences to the Pawar family and also the entire NCP family, the office bearers, and the people at large of Maharashtra. Now we are talking about Ajit Dada. He's been a family member of Mahayuti. As he said, as a younger brother, an elder brother to Eknath Rao Shinde, Dildar and Damdar Neta to Devendra Fadnavis. And then you have this outsider spreading half truths and innuendos and suggesting a conspiracy theory. It was so badly said that that Sharad Pawar at the age of 85 had to come out in public and tell the media that this is not a conspiracy. It is an unfortunate accident. And today we have lost a great statesman of Maharashtra. Still, the people of TMC, the Akhilesh Yadavs, the SPs have not given, I think they must give a formal written apology. The experts have spoken. There might be some error. I mean, we are not running away from it. Before Mamata Banerjee could suggest, our honorable CM and DCM made a statement. There will be a immediate, transparent inquiry on the incident. Because remember,
Okay.
it is a great loss to Maharashtra.
Okay.
It is a great loss to Maharashtra. 44 years, 8-time MLA, 11 times a minister who's presented the finance budget, grip on the administration. And you are talking like this?
Let me bring in Tariq Khan.
That is why the plane was being flown by a pilot
Disgusting.
who was actually couldn't
Absolutely
clear the
disgusting. He was
BA test
apologized
twice.
publicly spreading rumors. And is this the time of politics?
Okay.
That is why
speak
the
with
plane
the
was being
family.
flown by a pilot who
solid
couldn't
behind the
pass the
family.
test twice.
It's a
The BA
tragic
test
loss
twice.
of life.
1 second. Tariq Khan.
He
Now
put
we are
it
hearing.
there,
Now
the
we are
breath
hearing
analyzer
that the.
test twice
Now
and
we are
was
hearing
suspended
that the pilot failed 2 tests and so on and so forth, and therefore unreliable pilot was deliberately injected into this plane to do what Mamata Banerjee presumes has been done. Anyhow, I just want to ask you, Mr. Tariq Khan, how do you respond to this? Mamata Banerjee is saying that, look, he was leaving the party and he was leaving the NDA, And now what happened today raises serious questions. Your leader says that probe why VIPs are dying. Akhilesh Yadav is more concerned about why VIPs are dying. Probe why this is happening.
Am I audible?
Yes,
I hope
sir, you
you'll
are.
give me,
Of
I
course.
hope you'll give me time.
Yes, sir, of course.
First of all, whole Samajwadi Party and people of Uttar Pradesh stand with Pawar family, with the people of Maharashtra in this tough time. First of all, you said that this is a shocking omission. This is vulture politics. Somebody said that if some of the leader of India is saying that there should be a probe, he must say sorry. He must say sorry. There shouldn't be a probe. That's all right. I'll take you in 2014. Gopinath Munde died in an accident. Now the question is here is whether it's a conspiracy or accident. Now I'm naming the people who demanded CBI probe exactly in the same way Akhilesh ji demanded. Who are they? Who were they? They are Nitin Gadkari, Rajnath Singh, and Devendra Fadnavis and Pankaja Munde as well. What do you say on that? What do you say on that? Saying that there may be a conspiracy. They are saying, our leader are just saying that there could be a possibility.
No, what
of
are
a
you saying? What are you saying?
What
Look,
I
we
am
have no
saying-
problems.
I am saying
don't know,
at
what is he
that
talking
time
about?
when Gopinath,
Rahul
allow
sir,
me to speak. Allow me to
true.
speak.
No.
No, Ms.
you're
Shah, let him
forcing
speak,
what
let
he
him
said.
finish.
Allow-
You
allow-
can
put
rebut
on your
him.
national
Mr.
TV.
Ayyar
Allow
Mitra
me
is
to
also
finish.
there. 1 minute, Ms. Shah, let him
Question
Sorry,
raised
who
by
said
Let him
Akhilesh
speak.
that whether it should be crystal clear whether it's an accident or conspiracy.
Okay.
Same
Viewers,
thing has happened in 2000. Let me
Sharad
complete.
Pawar.
Give me time.
Viewers,
Give me
Sharad
time.
Pawar,
Give me
1
time.
second. I want to
Give
play
me
out.
time.
Okay.
Give me time. Give me time. Please, 10 seconds.
What is he
10 more
talking?
No, you made your point, sir.
10 more seconds. 10 more seconds. That
What
was also
point
accident.
is spreading lies?
CBI,
Also,
CBI conducted a probe. CBI conducted a probe.
Okay.
At that time, people from BJP demanded that there should be a CBI inquiry in that matter, whether that was an accident or
Sir,
conspiracy.
day
Okay.
of the black day for Maharashtra.
when
It's a tragic day and a politicizing
when
it.
a
You should be
political
ashamed of
responsible
yourself.
leader
Okay.
of opposition
Truly
is
ashamed
Okay,
of
1
yourself.
second. Let me step in here.
should be
No,
crystal
no,
clear.
please don't speak over each other. 1 minute, 1 minute. Okay, Mr. Khan, you made your point. Now you're repeating yourself ad nauseum. It's okay. You are allowed to do that too. But Mr. Ayyar Mitra, before I bring in Ms. Shah, what do you make of these claims that are now being... I'll bring you in, Tehseen. Please just give us 3 minutes. I'm not ignoring you. You have a very important voice. You come from Maharashtra, come from Pune, close to Baramati. You have a view on this, and I'm going to definitely come to you. Just give me 30 seconds. I just want to bring in, just for the sake of balance, Mr. Mitra, what do you make of these statements today? Somnath Chatterjee comes out and says that, look, this was sabotage. The man was leaving. The two Pawars were coming together. He's even more implicit.
I'm not going to get into this. When somebody dies to go in and cast all kinds of aspersions, can you imagine what the family is going through? For them to hear all of this, yeah, you really shouldn't do it. But this is a democracy. Unfortunately, taste is not a thing that you can legislate. So bad taste is also completely legal. So they're free to say what they want to say. That said, a lot of this, or a lot of these question marks come about simply because there is no proper regulation. Be it because the issue of Gopinath Mundeji was raised. Look, car crashes, we have 2 lakh lives lost per year in car crashes in this country. Nobody takes it seriously. Cameras, rules, nothing is ever enforced in this country. Unless you start enforcing rules, aviation, get on the AIIB's back to present investigation reports in time. Prosecute every traffic violation with grave seriousness.
Okay.
This is going to continue to happen. There's nothing we can do. Remember, a lot of questions were also raised when Maharaja Sindhya ji died in a car crash, if you remember, right? When Jitendra Prasada died of a heart attack or whatever it was, I forget now. This is a country prone to conspiracy theory precisely because the investigative mechanisms.
Okay, let me, okay, look, I mean, there's one other way of looking at it, but viewers, I don't think we can, and Tehseen Punala, do step in here. I don't think that we can condone the weaponization of a tragedy like this. This is scratching at the bottom of the barrel to rake muck and slam it at the NDA, to insinuate things. This is just an attempt to shake the faith of the public. And I just want you to keep seeing those visuals. And on the right, I just want you to see, viewers, before Tehseen gets in there, because I want him to also see these pictures. Can you put out in the corner on the box under Mr. Tehseen Poonawalla the photo of the crash, the landing site? I want you to see that, viewers. And Tehseen, when you look at that, what does this tell you?
Rahul, first of all, my deepest condolences to the Pawar family, to their supporters, their family, friends, their well-wishers. Ajit Pawar ji's kids are very dear friends of mine, and I'm in touch. There are two issues that I want to raise. I think these conspiracy theories are absolutely ridiculous. Though I am in the opposition to the BJP, I mean, to even slander a dead pilot who's no longer between us, I think it's terrible. Which pilot would on purpose want to crash a plane? The pilot's lost his life. And let's assume, I mean, is the BJP let me just be, is Narendra Modi ji and Amit Shah ji planning which pilot goes in which plane?
Exactly.
What kind of nonsense are we talking? Look, can I just say one thing? I agree everything with what Ajit Iyer said. We have the most incompetent DGCA. In the last 5 years, 53 plane crashes have happened. 14% increase in air crashes. Abhijit and I were on a podcast where we spoke about 6 helicopter crashes in Uttarakhand. The DGCA is snoozing. It has people who volunteer to be in the DGCA, so it's not professional. It doesn't have financial independence, so it's dependent on the civil aviation minister, in which case it's a Nepo kid right now who's currently enjoying his status and has zero idea about aviation. That's the problem. With India becoming the world's 4th largest economy, aviation playing a role in propelling our economy forward, what we need to do is get a bill in to make DGCA absolutely financially independent with professionals on board. Those are the questions we need to ask. We need to ask why does VSR Aviation continue to fly the plane despite an accident in September this year.
Absolutely.
We need to have reports in public domain. We don't even have the report of the Air India crash where so many Indians lost their life. 320 Indians, I'm not talking about this crash, leaving this crash out, have lost their lives in the past 3 years. That is shameful for us as a nation, as the world's 4th or 3rd largest economy. I think those are questions as opposition I want to raise. I don't want to get into these conspiracies. I think it's disrespectful to Ajit Pawarji. It's disrespectful to his family. And just imagine what his family is going through. And we are getting down to this. And for Pawar Saab to come out as Shah Ben said at this age and to say, look, stop this, I think we should stop it and get down. There must be an investigation, proper, time-bound, and in public domain. That no one's taking away from.
I think that's a very valid point that both Abhijit and Mr. Poonawalla have made, viewers. If you ask the right questions, people will take you seriously. The problem with the opposition today is it doesn't ask the right questions. No one has a problem demanding a CBI inquiry or an SC monitored probe. We would have actually commended that. Because as you know, viewers, within 3 years, there have been 2 crashes involving the same craft and the same company. So clearly there are questions to be asked. But if your opposition doesn't ask the questions that are most relevant, how are you going to hold anyone to account? If you cry wolf, even the people won't trust you, and that is a disservice to the people and our democracy. And this is what I'm trying to tell Mr. Bhattacharya, and I'm trying to tell Mr. Khan. Can they please go back to their leaders and explain to them that to stay relevant, they can't be making, or attempt to stay relevant, they can't be making outlandish statements. Yes, they'll grab the headline, but they'll lose their credibility. And that's not where we need to be, viewers. I just want us to listen to Mr. Sharad Pawar once as he tells people, stop it. Please stop it. Just listen, viewers.
हे काही नुकसान झालं ते भरून देणार नाही पण सगळ्याच गोष्टी आपल्या हातात नसतात मी आज मीडियासमोर
Viewers, he should be grieving today the loss of his nephew. But he has been forced by the likes of Mamata Banerjee and maybe Akhilesh Yadav and the Somnath Bharti types, viewers, to come out and say, for God's sakes, there has been no sabotage, there is no conspiracy, let me be, let my family be. Because I just want to move on, because there is another very important story that I want us to just focus on for a few moments. And this is a story, viewers, that comes out of Amritsar, and it is a story that should shake us up. On the day, which is Republic Day, India was honoring valor, India was saluting the Constitution, India was wearing its patriotism on its sleeve. What was happening outside the Golden Temple on the same day, on Republic Day, on the 26th of January, 2 days ago? A show of sedition, viewers. A show of sedition. What you see on the streets of Canada or on London, you're seeing outside the Holy Golden Temple in Amritsar in plain sight, viewers. Khalistan separatists chanting Break India slogans and vowing to dismantle the state. But instead of clamping down on this show of treachery, the AAP government has failed to execute even a single arrest. So FIRs have been filed, we are told. But no arrest has been effected. These people are making no attempt to cover their faces, viewers. They're easily identifiable. Inaction that is being called out by opposition parties and shocked patriots. Now, viewers, top intelligence sources say evidence of separatist playbook that can be executed multiple times. Amid government crackdown, K groups are struggling to sustain movements in India. And they are trying to jimmy up support. At this point in time, when mid-level agents in Punjab have been arrested or under surveillance, when the back of the movement is being broken, why are some people giving them oxygen so that they can stay relevant, so that they can pass on this seditious message and rouse people? Fundamental questions tonight, viewers. These people should have been made an example of. They should have been arrested, thrown behind bars, no questions asked, and let the law deal with them. But instead, viewers, what do we have? We have soft peddling. We have kids' glove treatment. We have evasion. We have individuals who are not looking at this issue. We have a media that is sleeping on the job, viewers. Why? Because they're scared to ask the question. They're scared of the AAP. They're scared of asking questions, viewers, because the AAP will turn on them, and they know that the AAP has a formidable social media machinery and that they can go after journalists, they can target them, they can shut them down. But viewers, anyone who keeps quiet seeing this isn't a better. Let me tell you this, viewers. And that's why tonight we're raising the voice and asking questions. And I want to open this up, viewers, because this is a story that cannot be denied, but is being indulged. Ramneet Singh Mann, you're an activist. What is going on here, sir? How can this rampant display of sedition, this show of sedition, be happening for all to see? And no one is arrested. What is going on?
I would like to draw your attention towards two images, two pictures. One is on the Republic Day on Kartavya Path, the Bhairo Battalion of the Sikh Light Infantry. That is Desh Bhakti at display. And the other is in Darbar Sahib, the flags of Khalistan, that is Gaddari at display. Now for treason, for Gaddari, since law and order is a state subject, Bhagwant Mann government should take firm action against them. Like you mentioned in your opening, their faces are open, they're revealed, open to see and identify. See, I have firmly believed, and I've maintained this for a very long time, that, you know, Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party have been in the bed with the Khalistanis for a very long. So
Absolutely
if they are
not, sir.
promoting
That's-
this, then
that's
they're
a very
playing with
wrong
fire.
statement to make.
If they're not taking action, then they're a part in treason. I believe No, it is a wrong statement. Fair enough. I take ownership of my wrong statement. You go ahead and file a case against me. You do it again. You've done it in the past. You do it again. I don't care. Now the point is this: when it comes to India, there is no compromise, sir. When it comes to the national integrity, there is no compromise. If you are talking about separatism, if you're talking about terrorism, see, if the Bhagwant Mann Aam Aadmi Party government in Punjab can raise issues like Yudh Nashe De Virod and Gangster Task Force, why not they handle these people? These jokers are out with Khalistani flags. They're talking about sedition. They're talking about separatism. You tell me, what is the meaning of Khalistan? Where does this come from? Who's promoting it? Who's funding it? Where were these flags printed? When did they accumulate? Who were the people who gathered them in Darbar Sahib? How did these flags get there? It has to go very deep. Who printed these flags? Who's the source? Where is the money coming from? There is a whole lot of investigation which needs to be done in this. Not just a simple FIR. So you may have a problem, but the fact still is, when the first elections in Punjab, when the Aam Aadmi Party contested, Aam Aadmi Party's chief Arvind Kejriwal slept at the residence of a known Khalistani. The Speaker of Punjab Assembly, Gultar Sanwa, when he was in Canada last, he was hobnobbing with Khalistanis. A Khalistani, Gurpatwant Pannu, openly has said that he's funded the Aam Aadmi Party with over $16 million. What are you talking about? It is payback time. They're giving them space. That's what they're doing.
Okay.
And if they're not giving them space, let's see arrests.
I'd like to answer this, Rahul sir.
Let's see these people being brought to book.
Well, Mr. Mann is making these statements in his individual capacity, of course, and he is saying that he is ready to take on the consequences. He's already taken on consequences in the past. Of course, I'm not going to underline any of them. I know that Mr. Pannu, who is a known separatist who lives in America, had come out and claimed that millions of dollars had been paid to the AAP. Now, whether he was lying, why would he be doing so? I don't know, viewers, but he said so. It's a public statement. I can vouch for that. And it is something that we can pull out and show Mr. Abbas, who might be shaking his head in derision tonight. But Mr. Abbas, do you think that these people who flew the Khalistan flag, chanted pro-Khalistan slogans, these individuals should be arrested, yes or no? Simple question. Forget about anything else.
Kindly allow me at least a fraction of the time that Ramnik Mann is allowed. Firstly, Ramnik Mann Paji, जितनी मोहब्बत आप देश से करते हैं, उतनी मोहब्बत या उससे कहीं ज़्यादा अरविंद केजरीवाल जी करते हैं. Aam Aadmi Party today is India's fastest growing political startup. And let me tell you, sir, if the people of Punjab voted for Aam Aadmi Party is for the unity of the nation and not for a Khalistan. And secondly, sir, Gurpant Mann, he made such a statement. Kindly show me a money trail of his contribution. Dekhiye, you very easily ask questions to the Aam Aadmi Party. So why don't you question the Ministry of Home Affairs? Why don't you question the National Investigation Agency? Why don't you question the Intelligence Bureau? If there are people who are working against this country, kindly question the ruling dispensation of our country as well. It's very easy for you to sit in Punjab and blame the Aam Aadmi Party. If the Aam Aadmi Party was in cahoots with the Khalistanis, the might, the mandate of the people of Punjab,
this has happened in Punjab.
the might, sir,
Why
I
is
did
the
not
Aam Aadmi Party
interrupt
not
you.
answerable?
Do not interrupt me, sir. I heard you patiently.
You
Hear me
did.
patiently now. Sir,
You did.
the people of Punjab, the mandate of Punjab, the voters of Punjab voted unanimously for the Aam Aadmi Party, and therefore,
Okay,
the
Mr.
Chief
Abbas.
Minister Bhagwant Mann and Arvind Kejriwal, they stand with the
Okay,
people
one
of
second,
Punjab.
They
They
Mr.
stand
Abbas.
with India, sir.
Okay, no, hang on. Let's not speak over each other. Mr. Abbas, I asked you a very simple question. Abhijit Iyer Mitra is also there. Mr. Abbas, a very simple question. Do people who fly the flag for Khalistan openly, without fear of consequence, and who chant pro-Khalistani slogans, who vow to overthrow the Indian Constitution, should they be arrested or not? Yes or no?
I believe not just the Bhagwant Mann government, but also the Ministry of Home Affairs of our beautiful country of India, the Intelligence Bureau,
I'm
the
asking
NIA,
you a question.
all
Should
of
they
them
be arrested?
collectively.
Should they be
All of
arrested,
them
yes or no?
collectively.
Should they be arrested?
They must be. Of
Of
course, they
course.
must
Now,
be.
viewers.
They must be dealt.
Okay,
they must
one
be
minute,
dealt with
one minute.
iron
Mr. Iyer
hands.
Mitra.
They must be dealt.
Mr. Iyer Mitra, I think this gentleman needs a class in civics.
No,
Law and
thank you,
order is
sir.
a,
No, thank you.
excuse me, law and order is a state subject.
So
What is
NIA,
Mr. Excuse
will
me, can
keep
you
mum
stop
when all
shouting,
this is
sir?
happening?
Can you please stop shouting?
Sir, will MHA do nothing
Can you
about
stop
it?
shouting?
Bhagwant Mann,
Can you stop shouting?
Is Bhagwant
Can you
Mann
stop
has
shouting?
enough powers like the
Can you
NIA,
stop
the
shouting,
IB,
Mr. Abbas,
the
and
ministry?
disrupting, please?
Sir, let's question all.
One
let's
second,
question
one
all
second,
in
one
power,
second, one second.
not
Just
just Bhagwant Mann.
Okay.
Let's question
Because
all those who are in power.
500 giant Indian flags all over Delhi was AAP's Tiranga campaign. The same party today that proudly flew the tricolour and hoisted it aboard a large number of tall masts all around the capital today is tolerating this yellow colored flag of so-called Khalistan. Viewers. Now, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, if there was a contradiction in terms, I don't know if there could be one greater than this. Not one arrest, and Abbas is telling us that Amit Shah should go there and effect these arrests. Can you explain to him why he's wrong?
First, it's called the separation of powers in the Constitution. Law and order is a state subject. It isn't a concurrent subject. For government agencies to go in, there has to be local permission. If you remember, Mamta Banerjee refused permission on several occasions for central agencies to come and do anything in her state. Again, this happens out here. For this kind of an event to be happening without interference in Punjab, though, is not very surprising, Rahul. We have seen this before, haven't we? The AAP keeps flirting with Khalistanis left, right, and center when it suits them. When it suits them, Tiranga, when it suits them, Khalistan. There is no bigger opportunist around than the AAP, and now because they've lost Delhi, and AAP in Punjab is effectively functioning as an independent body, they're not even listening to Arvind Kejriwal anymore. And you've seen the Congress resurgence that has happened in Punjab. They are flirting even more with these forces in the hope that it will come to them somehow or the other. They're hoping for some kind of a Hail Mary. Now, instead of everybody getting united and condemning this as it should be, what are we hearing? Why doesn't Amit Shah do something? When Amit Shah does something, you will say, oh, constitution ka hatya hua hai. States' rights have been trampled upon. Second emergency, people will come to Jantar Mantar and start protesting second emergency. Do and you're damned, don't do and you're damned. Basically, nobody gives a damn about this country anymore. Nobody gives a damn about how law and order is going to the dogs. When a state party is in charge of law and order. Why is that?
I have the answer if I'm allowed to, please.
I'll just read out something, viewers, from June 4th, 2022. And this is a report that I am quoting out of, very widely quoted report, viewers. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal Saturday said his government has formed volunteers-based committees to look after all the 500 high-mast tricolors that are being installed across the city under its Desh Bhakti budget. Desh Bhakti budget, he called it, viewers. He added that each Tiranga Samman Samiti will have 5 members and they must mobilize an army of 1,000 young volunteers in their areas and commit to social welfare work. And he's now quoted directly. He was speaking at the Tiranga Samman Samiti, addressing these volunteers at the Tyagraj Stadium in the heart of Delhi. And he says each flag's condition will be monitored, cared for by respective 5-member Tiranga Samman Samiti in Delhi. Tiranga Samman Samiti will report to PWD officials if a flag gets torn, soiled, or has any blemish due to dust, storm, or pollution. The Samiti will ensure the tricolour is there as per the flag code, unquote. Today, viewers, that same Chief Minister has a government in Punjab. And what is running rampant through the streets of Amritsar outside the Golden Temple complex are these flags. Mr. Mann, what does this tell you? Why is this happening? I know there are elections around the corner.
Is it a state, only concerns with the state, does not concern the national security of the nation? Is it not a matter of national interest? So therefore, my question is, why is the MHA mum about it?
Mr. Abbas,
why
are
isn't
you,
the NIA doing anything
Mr.
about
Abbas,
it?
Mr. Abbas, excuse me. Have the spine
Abbas,
in your life to stand up for your nation.
The path on which you are treading will
I have enough spine, sir. I have enough spine. With the same spine, I tell you, there should be these Khalistanis should be dealt with iron hands.
Yeah,
The
so
only
ask
place
the
they
Abbas
state
Sahib, you belong
government.
in Dibrugarh.
I am of
Ask
course
Mr.
of
Abbas
Abbas.
Sahib, you belong in
government.
Dibrugarh.
Why don't you have a spine and ask the central government?
My God.
Isn't it a matter of national
Viewers,
security?
can you
will
imagine
not question
what
the
this
BJP.
man,
Abbas Sahib, you
You
belong
will
in
not
this man
Dibrugarh.
question
is
the
saying?
BJP.
Anyhow, I
You're
think
only
more
questioning
fool us.
Bhagwant Mann.
Okay, one second.
What about Amit Shah?
Okay,
what
one
about
second.
the Ministry of Home
Just lower
Affairs?
his fader. He's just talking crap. I'm sorry, viewers, but it's exasperating. I mean, this gentleman has today stretched credulity to the point of break. I cannot believe that we have individuals like this living in our country who have zero sense and are willing for their politics and their political interests. And may you become an AAP spokesperson, sir. May Mr. Kejriwal award you with a knighthood. But for God's sakes, have some love for your country. That's all I can say, viewers. I'm leaving it at this. I'm appalled.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
On CNN News 18 with me, Poonam Burde. Unfortunate news came in this morning. Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar passed away in a plane crash in Baramati during an attempted landing. There were no survivors on board. Ajit Pawar was en route Baramati for campaign work when the Learjet 45 went down and burst into flames. Footage shows the aircraft in pieces and ablaze at the crash site. Maharashtra has now announced a 3-day state mourning. Flags are going to be lowered in tribute. Aviation authorities and DGCA have launched a formal investigation into the crash as well. Aviation Minister has gone on to say that preliminary probes suggest that visibility was the cause of the crash, but thorough investigation will be done to find out what exactly transpired. Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde are also in Baramati. They've met with Ajit Pawar's family there, offering their condolences. The same as Prime Minister Modi too did just a short while ago. Prime Minister Modi too offering condolences. In fact, dialing Sharad Pawar earlier this morning as well to speak with him and sharing his grief at this time. Well, CNN News 18 has been getting you images of where exactly the crash took place, what the runway looked like, the tabletop airstrip in Baramati where the plane went eventually down. And these are visuals that we've accessed for you now, which is the site of the accident. This is the tail end, the rear, which eventually broke away from the particular aircraft after it hit the ground. That was it breaking into two, splitting into two upon impact, which eventually went up in a ball of flame. That is what killed all of those people on board that particular Learjet 45, including Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar. These are visuals coming in from Baramati on that airstrip where this accident took place. This is that airstrip that you see. This is the part where you can see the plane had actually gone down. There are several locals, eyewitnesses who eventually came to the rescue. They were first responders when the plane actually went down and split into two. That is the runway, and this is where the plane went down, right on the side of it. It is a tabletop runway. We're given to understand that the pilot could not see where the runway was, eventually veered off. There was no contact after a point with the ATC as to what exactly transpired. But these visuals go on to show how far away really the aircraft landed from the airstrip where it was supposed to actually land. You can see there are people there around that particular airstrip, around the runway, also gathering, looking at what exactly transpired, trying to help those who probably would have been trapped under the debris. Unfortunately, it was too late to save anyone. Mahresh, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details on this. Mahresh, even as we are getting more details of what exactly transpired, getting a sense of what went down at that tabletop airstrip in Baramati, the family, they're still coming to terms with what exactly happened. Devendra Fadnavis, the Chief Minister, his deputy Eknath Shinde, all in Baramati now?
And we saw the visuals also that they met the family, and they also basically expressed their grief with the family. But it's a very shocking thing, and what we have been given to understand, even in the visuals also, we can see that a lot of people have gathered outside that Vidya Pratishthan ground where his mortal remains will be kept till 10 p.m. today. Then the mortal remains will be shifted to the Katewadi, which is the native place of Ajit Pawar, where exactly his mother and his family stay. So from 10 p.m. till morning 6 p.m. 6 a.m. His mortal remains will be kept at Katewadi, and then again his mortal remains will be brought to the Vidya Pratishthan ground for the final rite. So it's a very emotional moment for the entire family. It's a very emotional thing for the entire family because no one had expected that such kind of a accident or such kind of an incident will take place with Ajit Pawar, because it was unimaginable. And whenever I did try to speak with a lot of close associates of Ajit Pawar who have worked with him, who had basically Ajit Pawar basically gave them strength and showed them that this is the way that they should work. All of them are not in a basically situation or a condition to speak. Whenever I have called throughout the day, they are still crying and they are saying that it's unbelievable that it has happened. We cannot believe it.
Absolutely. There is no coming to terms to what exactly transpired this morning. It was going to be a routine flight that Ajit Pawar must have taken.
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. Donald Trump's second term began with big promises and even bigger numbers. For a year, he brushed off criticism, he survived scandals and kept his grip on power. But now the pressure is mounting. America's currency, the dollar, is slipping. Public anger is rising and the president's strongest backers are beginning to speak out. The business leaders and the tech giants, they're voicing concerns over the deadly crackdowns and divisive policies. Even Trump's approval ratings are showing strain. The US president is facing the first real test of his presidency. Tonight, we'll break down the growing challenges for him. Also on the show, what Washington thinks about India's trade deal with the European Union, why Saudi Arabia is pulling the plug on plans for the world's tallest skyscraper. Tensions are rising around Iran again after President Trump issued fresh threats. Why Americans are deleting TikTok, how Bangladesh is turning to China to build military drones at home, and how India's tourism sector has transformed over the past 10 years. All those stories and more coming up. The headlines first. In India, Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar dies in a plane crash. 4 others were also killed in the accident. The chartered aircraft burst into flames while trying to land in Baramati. The state government has declared 3 days of mourning. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will attend Pawar's funeral tomorrow. Russian President Vladimir Putin meets his Syrian counterpart in Moscow. The Kremlin wants to secure the future of its military bases in Syria. The two leaders had previously met in October. It was their first meeting since Ahmad al-Shara's forces toppled Moscow's ally Bashar al-Assad in 2024. German prosecutors raid Deutsche Bank's offices in Frankfurt and Berlin. Reports say the probe is connected with the bank's suspected dealings with Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich. Deutsche Bank is Germany's biggest bank. The raids come just a day before the announcement of their annual results. Amazon to cut 16,000 jobs worldwide. The e-commerce giant says this is part of its restructuring plan as it focuses on artificial intelligence. In October, reports said around 30,000 job cuts had been planned in total. The layoffs are in line with the trend to trim jobs across big tech. And a massive avalanche hits Sonmarg in Jammu and Kashmir. The snowstorm buried houses, hotels and vehicles in the popular tourist area. No casualties or injuries have been reported so far. This comes amid continuous snowfall across the valley, which has caused severe travel disruptions. When Donald Trump returned to the White House, his supporters called him Teflon coated, a political survivor, someone who managed to beat the odds and return to the White House with even bigger numbers. Since then, Trump has managed to shake off scandals, widespread criticism, and sustained international backlash for his policies. But 1 year into his presidency, his second presidency, cracks have begun to appear in Trump's armor. His presidency is facing a serious stress test. Pressure is building from all sides, the markets, the streets, and even some of his own backers. We'll start with the US dollar. It is the backbone of America's financial system and a global safe haven. But now it is losing its shine. The dollar has sunk to new lows. Over the past year, it has fallen by 10%. In fact, this week, the US dollar recorded its sharpest one-day drop. It fell to a 4-year low. This is against a basket of global currencies. We're talking about the global peers of the US dollar, like the euro, the Japanese yen, the British pound, the Canadian dollar, the Swedish krona, and the Swiss franc. The US dollar is getting weaker against these currencies, and the US president was asked about this. But he tried to brush off concerns. Donald Trump said a weaker currency was actually, and I'm quoting, great. Listen to this.
Well, Mr. President, with the current value of the dollar, do you think it's declined too much?
No, I think it's great. I mean, the value of the dollar, look at the business we're doing. No, dollar's doing great.
You want to see it decline?
You know, it's very interesting. If you look at China and Japan, I used to fight like hell with them because they always wanted to devalue their yen. You know that? The yen and the yuan. And they'd always want to devalue it. They devalue. And I said, not fair that you devalue because it's hard to compete when they devalue. But they always fought, no, our dollar's very good.
Trump built his entire political campaign on the promise of a strong America in every aspect. But now he says a weaker dollar is actually great. It's classic Trump. He's trying to spin this in his favor, but investors are not buying this line. Today, the US dollar showed fresh signs of weakness. One expert called it a falling chainsaw. And the dollar is only one front where Washington's weakness is showing. Pressure is building over Trump's immigration policies as well. The crackdowns by ICE have boomeranged on the president. ICE, as you know, is the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They have been cracking down on immigrants, whom they call illegal aliens. The crackdown has been especially brutal in the state of Minnesota. ICE agents shot dead 2 American citizens in separate incidents and detained many children. This triggered a severe backlash. It got so bad that now the US president is rolling back his campaign. President Trump gave an interview. He called the incidents in Minnesota terrible. This was followed by an announcement where Trump said he would de-escalate a little bit in Minnesota.
We're going to de-escalate a little bit, but I will tell you, you look at the numbers, they're doing better than they've done in many years.
Trump may want to spin his campaign as a success, but on the ground there's a lot of anger, both among lawmakers and the civil society. In fact, some of Trump's biggest backers are also speaking out, like Apple CEO Tim Cook. He sent a memo to his employees. Tim Cook wrote that he was, and I'm quoting, he was heartbroken by the death of American citizens at the hands of ICE agents. We have a copy of the memo. Here is what Tim Cook wrote, and I'm quoting. I believe America is strongest when we live up to our highest ideals, when we treat everyone with dignity and respect, no matter who they are or where they're from. That's what Tim Cook wrote. Reports say he also spoke to Donald Trump and he called for de-escalation. Sam Altman is making similar appeals. Sam Altman is the CEO of OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT. He too sent a message to his employees, and I'm quoting again. What's happening with ICE is going too far. There is a big difference between deporting violent criminals and what's happening now, and we need to get the distinction right. Tim Cook and Sam Altman. These are just 2 examples. Multiple top executives have issued such statements against the crackdown on immigrants. Like the incoming CEO of Target. His name is Michael Fidelkin. Target, as you would know, is one of America's biggest retailers. Its new CEO has called the shootings incredibly painful. Similarly, the CEO of Anthropic has issued a statement. Anthropic is the company behind the Claude AI platform. Their CEO called the events in Minnesota a horror. And these comments are worth noting because some of these names, some of these people were standing right next to Trump during his inauguration. When he took oath for a second time as president, these tech and business leaders have been among Donald Trump's top supporters. Now they're speaking out against his immigration policies. And these are not isolated events. Let's put these pieces together: a falling US dollar, domestic unrest, and pushback from industry leaders and allies. Clearly, President Trump is on the back foot, and it's reflecting in his approval ratings. A new poll is out. It shows that Trump's approval rating on the issue of immigration has fallen. 53% of Americans do not agree with Trump's approach. This is a president who ran on the issue of immigration. It was a centerpiece of his election campaign. But now a majority of Americans disapprove of his approach. Does this mean his presidency is under threat? Well, far from it. There is no serious challenge to Donald Trump, but the pressure is real and it's immense. And for now, Trump has chosen to respond with restraint. But again, this is a politician who has built his brand on shock and disruption, so it's hard to say how long the restraint will last and how soon the next disruption will be unleashed.
We did it. We delivered the mother of all deals.
Missed you a lot.
Now let us turn to India. It's among the countries that are on the receiving end of Trump's tariffs. Yesterday, India announced a major deal, a free trade agreement with the European Union. And the markets are cheering the news. Indian indices moved higher today. They closed the day with strong gains. The Sensex rose by nearly 500 points. The Nifty climbed by around 600 points. Investors clearly welcome the announcement. The deal is being seen as a positive signal, especially when global trade remains mired in uncertainty. With this free trade pact, India gains access to a major market. The European Union is the world's largest trading bloc, and now India has better low-barrier access to it. The trade pact cuts tariffs in a big way. It covers more than 90% of all goods on both sides. Tariffs on these goods will either be removed or reduced. More than 90% of the goods. This will deepen trade links between India and the EU. So far, there is in fact a fair bit of optimism. At the same time, experts say that this pact is not a substitute for a deal between India and the US. And that India's trade with America is as important, if not more, than its trade with Europe. Neither India nor Europe have framed this free trade deal in the context of New Delhi's trade negotiations with Washington. These are two separate issues, they say. Sources say the political direction and sense of urgency to lock the deal with Europe came in February last year, when the European commissioners visited India. So Delhi and Brussels are trying to de-link it from their respective ties with America, but the US does not see it that way. Look at the Trump administration's reactions to the India-EU trade deal. The first reaction came from Jamieson Greer. He is Trump's top trade official. He was asked about the deal in an interview. Greer said India comes out on top in this agreement, and he gave 3 reasons for that: more market access into Europe, lower duties for Indian exports, and easier immigration. That's what India gets. Greer said these are the big positives for India. He was also asked about the India-US trade deal, and to this, Greer gave a vague answer. He raised the issue of Russian oil purchases again. He did acknowledge that India is cutting back on purchases from Russia, but according to Greer, and I'm quoting, India still has work to do. At the same time, he said a complete shift for India will be difficult because Russian oil comes at a discount, and that discount matters. It helps India keep its import bills low and keep prices in check. Now, this is a fair understanding of India's position. And yet, Washington continues to target India. So I guess
on the runway, all of that is going to be investigated by the AAIB and the DGCA. The government will be putting out those details shortly as to what exactly transpired, piecing together whether it was a lapse or a technical glitch that led to this kind of crash, which eventually led to the tragic death of Ajit Pawar. But here's a look at the remarkable political journey that Ajit Pawar has had, how he rose to become affectionately known as Dada in Maharashtra.
मी अजित आशाताई अनंतराव पवार. मी अजित अनंतराव पवार. मी अजित अनंतराव पवार. मी अजित अनंतराव पवार. गांभीर्यपूर्वक प्रतिज्ञा करतो की कायद्याद्वारे स्थापित झाले आहे अशा भारताच्या संविधान.
And air crash early morning on the 20th of January that didn't just kill 5 people but brought the curtains down on one of the most dynamic politicians of Maharashtra. Ajit Pawar, Deputy Chief Minister, lost his life in his home turf Baramati as the chartered plane carrying him and 4 others failed to land. 66-year-old Pawar was Dada to the people of Baramati and Maharashtra. Dada, who had blossomed politically under Sahib Sharad Pawar, but chartered his own course since July 2023. In a second political earthquake for the state, Ajit Pawar split the NCP and joined hands with Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde to come back to power in the state. He had attempted to join government in 2019 as well. In an early morning swearing-in, Ajit Pawar had taken oath as Deputy Chief Minister after Shiv Sena parted ways with the BJP.
अभी शाम तक रुको, अभी कल शपथ ली है ना, उनका समझ में आएगा, मैं तो लेने वाला हूं.
This experiment lasted 80 hours as Ajit Pawar failed to win over enough NCP MLAs. By 2024, however, he had the clock symbol of NCP, the mandate of the voters in Baramati, and a foot firmly in the government of Maharashtra.
क्या है, अभी हमारे सभी विधायकों ने, सभी पार्टी वर्करों ने, सभी डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्रेसिडेंट, तालुका प्रेसिडेंट, ये सबने मेरे ऊपर जिम्मेवारी दी है. तो वो बोलते नहीं, इतने जल्दी नहीं चाहिए, लास्ट में चाहिए, 16 को, 15 को, 17 को, 18 को. ऐसा कैसा चलेगा? अभी ये जिम्मेवारी ली है तो वो निभानी पड़ेगी और लोग रिस्पांस दे रहे हैं. अगर इसमें आप जब काम करते हैं और लोग रिस्पांस देते हैं तो अच्छा लगता है.
Fate cheated Ajit Pawar of perhaps another win at Zilla Parishad. The once right-hand man of Sharad Pawar was known as a political survivor. He had lost his father at just 18 years of age and was swiftly taken under the wings of Sharad Pawar, the then Chanakya of Indian politics. Ajit Pawar started his public life in the cooperative sector, having been elected as the head of a sugar cooperative in 1982. Master strategist Ajit Pawar built his initial base here, having worked with sugar factories, milk unions and local banks. In 1991, he became chairman of the Pune District Cooperative Bank and held the position for 16 years. He was elected to the Lok Sabha from Baramati. He soon shifted to state politics and won Baramati Vidhan Sabha consistently for 3 decades. Amidst a fallout with his uncle, Ajit Pawar won the Baramati seat for the 8th time in November 2024, but also faced a setback when his bid to get his wife Sunetra elected from Lok Sabha from the same seat failed. Up against her was Ajit Pawar's cousin Supriya Sule.
मैं आपको बताता हूँ, आप कुछ मुझे बोल के मैं कुछ डिसीजन दूंगा और लोग बोलेंगे यशा जी ने ये घर तोड़ा. ऐसा नहीं है. डिसीजन लेने वाले के बच्चे नहीं है, सालों से काम कर रहे हैं. और राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस पार्टी के पूरे विधायकों ने, 100% विधायकों ने वो लेटर दिया था, सब कुछ किया था. ये सब अभी पुराना बार बार दोहराना मुझे अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है. और ये सब होते हैं डेमोक्रेसी में, तो मेजॉरिटी जो डिसीजन लेती है उसको सपोर्ट करना चाहिए. लेकिन नहीं हो वो हुआ. और ये सुप्रिया बोल रही कि घर तोड़ा जो तोड़ा ऐसा उसको लगता है. तो हम क्या बच्चे नहीं है, हमें समझ में आना चाहिए ना हम क्या कर रहे हैं क्या नहीं कर रहे. तो दूसरों को उसके बारे में दोष देना मुझे बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं है.
Ajit Pawar was known for his grassroots outreach, cooperative sector strength and tight organizational control. He was flying back to Baramati after attending a cabinet meeting in Mumbai. His death not only leaves a huge void for the Pawar family, but also opens several questions for Maharashtra politics, where coalitions and changing dynamics within coalition partners has repeatedly thrown up surprises.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. Earlier this morning, shock rippled across Maharashtra and the country as a chartered aircraft carrying Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar crashed near Baramati Airport in Pune, killing all 5 on board. The jet, a Bombardier Learjet 45XR operated by VSR Aviation, was on a short flight from Mumbai to Baramati, where Pawar was scheduled to address 4 public meetings when the calamity struck during its second landing attempt. Now, questions over visibility and challenging conditions remain yet to be answered. The aviation watchdog DGCA has ordered investigation. Its teams from the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau have reached the scene as well. The jet involved had been in service for over a decade and was operated by a charter firm linked to a previous incident involving a Learjet in 2023, now raising fresh concerns about the maintenance and safety oversight. So what really went wrong? Was it weather and visibility, as early whispers suggest, or did technical failure or pilot error lead to this tragedy? We'll have experts joining us and breaking down everything that we know